I don't know where to begin, honestly. Kingdom Hearts, one of Square Enix's premier franchises next to Final Fantasy. A concept so absurd, really, I still think it's such an odd combination. Your favorite Disney characters and an assortment of characters from Final Fantasy collide together in a journey that has you guide this boy through a multiverse of worlds in hopes of stopping the dreaded Heartless from covering the stars in supreme darkness. How did this come to be? What, the folks at Square just meet with a Disney executive in an elevator one day and say, hey, have I got an idea for you? What? That's exactly what happened? Jesus H. Christ. I love this console. It had just about everything for me. Platformers, action-adventure games, RPGs. Oh man, RPGs. I was still at a pretty substantial high for Final Fantasy around this time, and the instant I laid my eyes on the very first Kingdom Hearts commercial I ever saw, I was hooked. And seeing them all in a single package along with characters of the Final Fantasy series was hypnotizing. Unexpected, of course, but back then I was like, oh my god, it's Cloud! Oh, look, he looks so cool! Look, the genie! He's helping me nuke some bad guys, and holy shit, it's Sephiroth! This is so amazing, and he won't stop kicking me in the dick! Things started going all over the place. Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2 was released for the Nintendo DS, Kingdom Hearts Coded was initially a mobile phone game, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep was for the PlayStation Portable, and Dream Drop Distance was for the Nintendo 3DS. Whereas Kingdom Hearts 3, you might be asking? That's a good fucking question. Having to invest in so many different consoles and handhelds in a short time frame just so that I wasn't lost in the next game was a major pain in the ass. Sure, I guess I could always read wiki articles to keep up with the times, but I was always one for hands-on experiences so that I can see events unfold through my eyes and not through someone else's. And you may argue that that's more of a me problem. I'd argue, well, maybe they should just bring all these sequels to one fucking console. You guys ready to go? No? Well, too fucking bad, because we're making this deep dive into the franchise together, starting with the 2002 original. Meet Sora, a young teenager that spends his days on Destiny Islands, racing on rickety piers, humping trees, and beating his friends with a wooden stick. Riku, among them all, is most adamant over this idea since he's tired of the same old routine, and shit, he's probably getting sick of all the stick fights too. Elsewhere in Disneyland, we meet Donald Duck and Goofy, royal guards of the Disney castle. King Mickey has suddenly vanished, leaving only a note that explains he's gone on to investigate the sudden disappearance of other worlds, and that Donald and Goofy should head to Traverse Town and look for the one with the key, as he's the key to solving this whole dilemma. If King Mickey knows the person with the key is essential to solving the problem and went off to assess the situation, then why didn't he just bring Donald and Goofy with him to search for the key bearer? The dark creatures are known as the Heartless, who are attracted to the darkness in people's hearts. And we're not talking actual physical hearts, but rather the metaphorical one, the one Matee represents in Captain Planet. It's more like a soul the more I think about it. The Heartless can steal a heart from someone and thus make that poor sap a Heartless themselves, so in a way they're kind of like zombies too. What the Heartless fear, though, is the Keyblade, the very same that was given to Sora. Turns out he was chosen by the Blade to slay the Heartless and to lock these keyholes. These basically lead to the heart of the world it's in. If the Heartless manage to locate the keyhole of the world, they can destroy it by consuming the world's heart. Yeah, the world itself has a heart, so does that mean a world can become a Heartless if it's lost? Well, I think the answer to that is yes, but I'm jumping way ahead here. The basic gist of these worlds are heavily abridged retellings of that franchise's story. For instance, in Aladdin's world, you're trying to prevent Jafar from attaining the magic lamp only for him to get it anyway. Now you gotta deal with his genie form by smacking the shit out of Iago. What an asshole! Honestly, locking the keyholes of each world seems pretty incidental. It's not like the gang heads to the next world to stop the Heartless and actively search for the thing. No, they're looking for their buddies, and it just so happens that the Heartless are there. They slap a villain in the face and, oh hey look, it's the keyhole. We should probably seal that up. There's a lot of schmaltzy teenage drama between Sora and Riku as the story continues. They both want to find Kairi, but have different means of doing so. Riku is willing to embrace the power of darkness to rescue Kairi, while Sora thinks that's a horrible idea. Light side versus dark side, misunderstandings that lead to resentment between the two, and a couple of sword fights here and there, yet pretty basic. Serviceable, but basic. Kairi turns out to be one of those 7 princesses, but much to Riku's dismay, her body is intact, but her heart's gone missing, leaving her comatose. Maleficent blames the Heartless, and I guess Riku becomes so enraged that he's blinded by the fact that he's not working alongside the very same creatures that left her friend a plank of wood. Of course, Maleficent is just manipulating him, but come on, man, get your head out of your ass. But the damage has been done, and Riku slowly becomes more corrupted by the power of darkness as the game proceeds, and he continues to give Sora a hard time on a couple of occasions. This reaches its apex when a mysterious hooded figure approaches Riku and claims that he can help Riku unlock his true potential if he fully succumbs to the darkness within him. He lost his physical body some time ago because of his previous exploits and is now using Riku's body as a vessel. He's really the one responsible for kickstarting this whole game, as it was his experiments that caused the Heartless to run amok across multiple worlds, and he's been the one subtly manipulating Maleficent to collect the other 7 princesses so he can obtain the darkety dark darkness he's been looking for.
Did you get that?
No!
A fully powered Ansem returns at this time, with his possession of Riku being complete. No longer is he an angsty-filled white-haired pretty boy voiced by David Gallagher, but now a tall, dark, and handsome white-haired pretty boy voiced by Billy Zane. But before Ansem can follow up with his plans, Riku hasn't entirely lost control of himself and temporarily prevents Ansem from doing anything, giving Kairi, Donald, and Goofy time to escape. As consequence for his actions, Sora becomes one of the dreaded Heartless. For about 2 minutes, then he's back to normal when Kairi gives him a hug. Our story ends with Sora, Donald, and Goofy walking aimlessly down this random stretch of road, pondering how they're going to reunite with their friends, and thanks to this letter from Pluto the dog, that might happen sooner than they think. Seems like someone was confident this game was getting a sequel, and apparently Tetsuya Nomura left things unresolved or undeveloped intentionally for the sake of following them up with the future sequel. Hell, if you go out of your way to collect everything, you get this flashy teaser of the next game. It looks cool, but dude, shouldn't you have waited to see how this game performed first before making assumptions here? If this game flopped, then you just look like an utter ass, but what did I think about this one? What are the fates of Kairi, Riku, and King Mickey? How did Sora, Donald, and Goofy end up on this winding road? Where is Pluto taking them? Is Sora's mother just sitting there waiting for her son to eat his dinner? They try to justify this with the whole concept of meddling. Essentially, beings from other worlds are not allowed to interfere with the affairs of other worlds. It's some sort of unwritten rule. But this doesn't mean a goddamn thing to Sora and company, as they have to meddle in the affairs of every world they travel in because of the Heartless. Look, the Heartless are clearly a threat beyond the limitations of a single world. So enough with this meddling shit, and let's get a party of Aladdin, Tarzan, and Ariel, and I guess Yuffie, and let's get a real Disney Square Enix crossover going on here. As a Final Fantasy fan, God, clashing swords with Selphie, Waka, and Tidus, getting help from Yuffie, Aerith, and Squall.
That's Leon.
Yeah, whatever, Squall. And at certain times, Sora can even summon allies to do his bidding. But we're not talking Ifrit, Shiva, or Bahamut. They're all Disney characters here. Simba, Genie, Dumbo, Tinkerbell, Mushu, Bambi? Huh. Donald and Goofy are your main party members for the whole adventure. In certain Disney worlds, you can swap one of them out with, say, Aladdin, Tarzan, or the motherfucking Beast. Though why we just can't have 4 party members instead of 3 in these instances is something I don't think the game would like to answer to me. Goofy uses a shield as a means of defense and offense. I personally use him as more of a supportive character to supplement Sora and Donald. I always stock him with potions and ether so that he's always there to give the other 2 some emergency healing or MP restoration, and later when you get the real juicy supportive skills, there's no one else I'd rather have with me. Sorry, Donald, but let's be frank, you're a fucking asshole. The Oblivion Keyblade was always one of my top picks. I have a real life replica of the thing in my house. Keyblades are like the perfect cosplay prop, just don't take them to an airport. Just be careful when fighting close to a ledge, because although you might take your surroundings into consideration, Sora doesn't like a fucking tool, and if you're trying to stay on high ground for, say, exploration, it's aggravating when Sora smacks a Heartless in midair only to fall straight down to a lower level like a goddamn Wile E. Coyote skit. But Wonderland has you go through bizarre architecture, Deep Jungle has you swing on vines and slide down trees, Atlantica lets you swim and neuter half of your combat skills, and Hollow Bastion loves these slow-ass elevators. And the game loves to go on the cheap end at times and have characters speak with basic lip flaps and static faces. In the middle of a chaotic scene, it can be pretty jarring watching expressions change in a single frame. Oh shit! Not only does every world have their own music, in a different musical style perfectly reflecting the world you're in, but they also have their own battle themes. It's nice and varied, and none of them wear thin for me. That's how you do it, Sonic Unleashed, you and your overused werehog theme.
My man!
Russ!
What's going on, sir?
Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Got Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, yes!
I know it's been 4 years waiting for this. Let's not waste any more time. Let's put this pop the shit in.
Oh, yeah, let's just go for it.
Go for it.
This isn't Traverse Town. Where is this taking place at?
No, this is Twilight Town. It was mentioned at the end of the last game.
Twilight Town? There was no Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 1.
No, Chain of Memories.
Chain of Memories. Is that in Kingdom Hearts 1?
Shit.
John, who are these guys in the black hoods?
That's Organization 13. They were the bad guys of the last game.
They weren't on Kingdom Hearts 1 either.
No.
Weren't Sora, Donald, and Goofy going to the castle? Didn't Pluto bring them? Where's Pluto? Where's the letter? Where did they go? John, who's the blonde-haired chick that looks exactly like Kairi? It seems like this guy in the red hair is really important. Like, why does he keep showing up? Who's this guy in the deep voice that sounds like Christopher Lee over and over talking? Hey, John, your TV it's staticky. Is it okay? Like, what's going on? What is Sora doing in the Peapod thing?
Chain of Memories, Russ! They're all inserted Chain of Memories! Jesus! Fuck anime!
Looks like my summer vacation is over.
That This was the intro?
Yep, that's pretty much how my first experience with Kingdom Hearts 2 went down, acting as the liaison for Chain of Memories, because like I said in the previous video, people didn't think it'd be important enough to get a Game Boy Advance for, they decided to skip it, and oh look at that, now they're lost. I'll admit, even in 2004, the idea of jumping from the PlayStation 2 to the Game Boy Advance was weird, but I did have a Game Boy Advance, I just had to, needed my Metroid, Pokemon, and Mario and Luigi fixings. In March of 2007, as part of the initially Japan-only Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Plus Combo Pack, Square Enix went and remade the entirety of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the PlayStation 2, which, you know, kind of what it should have been in the first place if they really wanted us to play for the story. This new version, titled Kingdom Hearts Re-Chain of Memories, would see an international release in late 2008, so finally dedicated PlayStation 2 owners got to experience the missing piece of this slowly mutating puzzle just around 4 years after the game originally came out, and when Kingdom Hearts 2 was already a thing. Oh, Jesus. Elliot, this is not your this is my copy. Why did Mom feel the need to mark your name with such a huge-ass Sharpie? Oh, God. With hopes high, the trio followed Pluto to parts unknown. Unfortunately, because I guess they couldn't keep up with the damn dog and because Pluto is an asshole, the gang stops their chase for the night and rests under the stars. Suddenly, Sora is then awakened by this mysterious black-cloaked figure, and with some vague rhetoric, the man goads Sora and company to follow him in this strange-looking castle in the distance. Once inside, the mystery man welcomes them to Castle Oblivion, and right there the gang should have just fucking bailed. I'm sorry, would you stay at a hotel called Cameras in the Bathroom? No, you wouldn't. But Sora and the gang stick around because they have a gut feeling that Riku and King Mickey are inside, and because Pluto ain't around anymore, so fuck him. However, by simply being inside the castle, the gang have forgotten all of their abilities, as Donald finds out the hard way. In Castle Oblivion, to lose is to find, and to find is to lose, and all that other bullshit. It's basically a justification for Sora to start from square one for both this and Kingdom Hearts 2, and this won't be the first time this happens, trust me. Proceeding deeper into the castle requires that Sora visit these reflections at every floor, and the further he travels, the more memories he'll lose, but he'll also come closer to discovering the truth. I'd personally just leave the castle, but since the gang is back to basics, I guess it's better than nothing, so climb the castle they do. The man behind the cloak is revealed to be a pink-haired pretty boy named Marluxia, representing this so-called organization. I know it's actually Organization 13, but for now it's just called the Organization, one step at a time here. Marluxia wishes to overthrow his superior and take control of the organization for himself, along with other organization members Larzine, a woman I'm certain has a constant hard-on for torture, and Axel, a fiery redhead voiced by Quentin Flynn, who I can't see as anybody else other than Reno from Final Fantasy VII because they're almost the exact same fucking character. Marluxia believes that Sora is the key to helping him take over the organization and devises a plan to make him his slave. Marluxia is cut down to size, as much as you can cut with the giant key anyway, and afterwards Naminé claims that she can help Sora, Donald, and Goofy restore their memories back to normal since their heads are pretty much... But to do so, they need to sleep in this chamber for a whole year. Without hesitation, the gang head into the deep sleep, leaving Naminé with a whole year's work ahead of her. The organization obviously being the biggest addition. They wear these black coats, they have an ominous presence about them, they clearly got an agenda, but we learn next to nothing about them. And barring Larzine and Axel, they have next to no personality, and they spend most of their time just standing around talking about how things are going. If this is supposed to be Nomura's definition of interesting, God no, I don't care about these guys. Hell, maybe that's why Marluxia wanted to take over, because he got sick of everyone wasting their time sitting in dark rooms as well. For fuck's sake, Lexian, turn some fucking lights on! The Disney stuff has little relevance to the main story, if they're not abridged retellings of their Kingdom Hearts 1 counterparts, which are already abridged retellings of their Disney films. Wrap your head around that one. Now, to be fair, he is being manipulated both physically and mentally with the whole memory thing, but it feels like he never stops to think and use some good old-fashioned logic at any point and assess the situation. Yeah, he's the hot-blooded teen, I get that, but he's also our central character, meaning I gotta put up with this shit throughout the whole quest, and at a couple of points his total disregard for reality made me think, damn, this kid is dumb. And when I'm agreeing with Larzine and Marluxia in that regard, you know something's wrong. And getting assistance from your two chums, Goofy with his assortment of shield abilities, and Donald with his emergency heals and total disregard for elemental weaknesses. Really? You're gonna cast fire magic on the guy that uses fire. I will eat you. As far as a true challenge, Riku's final battle with Ansem in the 2D game is without a doubt the hardest fight. If only because this dickhead spams attacks so fucking fast, and because the arena is so small, you have little room to breathe. Now Riku is a slightly different case in battles. He has a set deck, which changes inside every world, but he can't add or remove cards from his deck and has to rely on Mickey cards to heal himself since he also has no magic. And if you think this makes Riku's campaign harder, nope! Look, the card system is no doubt the most interesting thing about Chain of Memories, and there was something I found oddly relaxing about taking the time to construct a new deck whenever I got some new cards, probably because I like to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And hey, I wouldn't mind if this game was set up more like that. Draw! Goofy card! Draw! Donald card! Draw! Mickey card! But hey, credit to 100 Acre Wood, it has absolutely nothing at all in the Game Boy Advance game. You just drag Winnie the Pooh across the field and then his friends give you cards. That's fucking fun. The remake gives you more minigames at least, nothing spectacular, but better than this shit. A few of you have noticed that I never once mentioned 100 Acre Wood in the last video. It is a world that Sora travels to, but it's always the minigame world that has no bearing on the story. You play games, you get some treasure, that's it. That's probably why I completely skimmed over it, but yeah, it's a thing. About as relevant as the other shit. 2018, huh? I'll believe it when I see it. But in 2006, there was no other title I was looking forward to as much as Kingdom Hearts 2. I picked it up midnight of its release at the closest Walmart. I went right back to my dormitory and just battled the night away. I loved the original so much, I was anxious to see where the adventure continued, even after Chain of Memories left me a bit on the mixed side. Still, we were back on the PlayStation 2, and that's all that mattered. Let's try this again. Sora, Donald, and Goofy defeated Ansem at the end of the first game, followed Pluto to parts unknown in hopes of finding their friends, ending up finding this castle instead because of this hooded figure that belongs to an organization that wanted to manipulate Sora to do their bidding. Sora's memories become fucked up for being inside the castle for so long. He takes care of the man in the black hood along with a few of his associates, helps this girl named Naminé, who's the reason why his memories are so scattered but was doing so against her will. The girl promises to fix Sora, but to do so he has to sleep in this chamber for a whole year, and everything he just experienced inside the castle will be wiped clean from his memory, effectively rendering the whole game moot from Sora's perspective. Buckle down, boys and girls. So when a strong-willed person loses their heart, they not only form a heartless, but the body left behind forms a sentience of its own and simply is. In Sora's case, it was when he stabbed himself in the chest with Riku's Keyblade near the end of the first game, but since Sora got his body back anyway thanks to Kairi, Roxas is just kind of there, and this also holds true for Naminé, who in fact is Kairi's nobody, created from the same stunt that ended up creating Roxas. Where do the memory powers come from?
Shut up!
But in due time, Roxas is led to Sora's chamber thanks to Diz, and Roxas succumbs to his fate, having no real choice in the matter. It's kind of tragic, but hooray! Sora, Donald, and Goofy are back! Tra-la-la-la, that's a good time! La-la-la. Now, trying to become whole again is not necessarily a bad thing, but since gathering hearts requires killing people, yeah, they gotta go. And with some new duds supplied to Sora that grant him additional abilities, Sora and the gang take their new gummy ship across the many worlds once more to deal with the threat of the Heartless and Organization 13, all while continuing to look for their lost friends. Again. But it turns out Ansem is still alive and kicking as the walking belt buckle Diz, and he's looking to seek revenge. And when he's being voiced by the late and great Christopher Lee, you know he fucking means it. An unexpected assistance from Axel, who, after kidnapping Kairi for the sake of luring Sora into a trap in an attempt to reunite with Roxas, because I swear they're more than just best friends, begins to feel a tinge of regret, has a change of heart, and helps Sora out, which ends up killing the man, but he comes to accept that. Sayonara, my fiery friend. See you next game. And they reunite with their friends back on Destiny Islands. After the credits, Kairi brings Sora and Riku a message from King Mickey. What's in the letter? We'll have to wait and see, and I swear to Christ, if it leads to another fucking Castle of Oblivion, I'm gonna scream. I don't think it's being played as a joke. Seeing Mickey Mouse in an anime as shit black hood with a serious game face on, that is ridiculous. But it sure does look and sound cool, doesn't it? And again, this is what I think Nomura really wanted to do. To visually stimulate you. You cut skyscrapers in half with a goddamn key. That alone could summarize my point. Kingdom Hearts 2 is positively dripping with style, and do not misunderstand me, I love style. Why do I have this Kingdom Hearts 2 wall scroll? Because I thought it looked cool. You can sell me on style, and combined with some of the best graphics of its generation along with a wonderfully remastered soundtrack, I just like seeing some of my favorite Disney characters in action, and the Final Fantasy add-ons, Jesus, you should have seen my face when I saw Setzer and Vivi for the first time. When Hades called up Auron from Final Fantasy X to do his bidding, oh my god, I needed a change of pants. They don't matter much, but I do enjoy them. It's junk food for my inner Disney and Final Fantasy fan, and though I don't care for the plot, I can still enjoy Kingdom Hearts in that regard, and sure enough, that's why I'm so excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, because it's Toy Story! And finally, later in the game, Sora can use both Donald and Goofy. Atlantica in this game decides to do away with combat entirely and instead have us sing musicals, as the game essentially retells the events of the movie, which the first game already sort of did, so what the hell? You're only required to hit the appropriate buttons when prompted, and I don't know, I swear a lot of them are off key. Look, I realize that something tied to Disney, a musical-filled shindig, is quite fitting, especially for the Renaissance age. I see what they were going with, and to be fair, it is entirely optional, only needed to complete your journal, but what the hell is this?
Stop it. He's only a child.
Wishes really can come true.
Don't worry. We're getting out of here. But it's Disney.
But before any of that is even a thing, you guys know what next Tuesday is. Yeah, August 15th. And you know what that means? Ben Affleck's birthday. Happy birthday, you son of a bitch. You were the bomb in Phantoms, yo. But Square Enix wasted no time filling up the time with a plethora of side games. Well, some of them are side games. Others are just as tied to the main story as the number of games. And first up to bat was Kingdom Hearts 358 Days Over 2. Goddamn, I hate this name. I just do. I know it makes sense in context of the game's plot, it's fine. But it just reeks of pretentiousness to me. And seriously, it's a fucking math equation. I was, however, down for more Kingdom Hearts action on the go, and the game didn't look to have the card battle system from Chain of Memories, so it seemed promising. I picked it up, put about 5 to 6 hours into it, and then put it right back down and traded it for something else. So if you're thinking 358 goes out of its way to give all 13 members of the organization some proper development and whatnot, nope! Oh god, no. Just a couple of hours in, about half of the cast is sent off to Castle Oblivion from Chain of Memories and get killed off given how events in that game transpired. This leaves us organization leader Zemus, rejected pirate Zigbar, lover of cardboard Sayax, the gambler in serious need of an intervention Luxord, Reno from Final Fantasy VII, the guy who's just here to collect a paycheck Demix, and everybody's favorite nobody, Roxas. Every day after completing their shifts, the two head to the clock tower in Twilight Town and eat some sea salt ice cream. It's a menial living for a bit. I'll admit, even I felt a bit saddened by Shion's sacrifice, though personally I thought her entire inclusion to be redundant. A young up-and-comer that could wield the Keyblade that the organization wanted to use to gain ultimate power? That's Roxas. It's not quite the same, and I realize she's just plan B in case Roxas didn't work out. I just find the concept samey, sorta cheap, and borderline run-of-the-mill fanfiction. She's a secret 14th member of Organization 13 that looks like Kairi and can wield the Keyblade. Yeah, still, when she bites it at the end and you can see her memory slowly fading away, I felt something. Because she went and made what she thought was the right choice under circumstances she had no control over, and I knew this was going to decimate Roxas, a character I think had it rough enough as is.
Shion, who else will I have ice cream with?
That line, though, sucks. Now, there was something I found oddly intriguing between the Axel and Sayax dynamic. The two are implied to be in cahoots with some ulterior motive given past experiences they had most likely. Sayax believes that their leader Zemus is hiding something from the organization, he's just not sure what. Though I think Sayax personality-wise is exhilarating as tofu, I can't help but feel a little captivated by that loose end. So is this where I talk about the game now? Okay. The story is just fine. It's just the gameplay that supplements it. You want to know why I put it down after only 6 hours originally? All right, let's jump in. As part of the organization, Roxas is tasked with traveling to whatever world he's assigned to maybe slay Heartless and collect the captive hearts, perform some basic reconnaissance to learn more about the world around him, collect a bunch of emblems as part of a fitness exam, and maybe hunt down a certain number of things to fulfill an arbitrary quota. Afterwards, you watch Roxas and friends eat some ice cream, return to your base of operations, watch the day counter go up, maybe see if some plot unfolds, and then you choose your next mission. This is the entire game. This is the entire game. After completing enough missions, you can even unlock characters like Donald and Goofy. Now, I think this is a neat bonus for the sake of variety, but these are still the exact same missions from previously, and for some reason they still use the game's cutscenes from the game's main campaign. Alright, Roxas, time to teach you how to collect some hearts and destroy some Heartless. Sounds great, Axel. Go get him, Donald! After about 6 hours of game time, I've seen just about every type of mission the game had. Yet the first 2 hours was wasted on the game's borderline obnoxious tutorial segments, and I had to have seen Roxas eat a whole fucking truck of sea salt ice cream. It's a miracle these kids don't have type 2 diabetes by the end of this shit. I wanted to put the game down several times throughout the recording, and at one point during a mission in Neverland, I fell asleep. Not even Chain of Memories did that to me. This game is so boring. The consequence of having such a tedious mission structure making every world feel like they overstay their welcome, compounded by the fact that you jump between worlds too fucking often. It's mechanically functional, it's Kingdom Hearts the way I recognize it, and that's good, but much like, say, Star Fox Command, you don't do much here, and it's close to 30 hours long! What the hell? I got the outro a little wrong, didn't I? Well, that was a good take, I'm not doing it over. Hey, just wanted to give a quick shout out to Shade1602 for the lovely commission piece she made me an Organization 13 member. Look at that fucking full head of hair. You can consider me the organization's janitor, Jackson. I love that name. Oh shit, could it be? I'm following up a Kingdom Hearts video with another Kingdom Hearts video? What is this, some sort of marathon? In the land of departure, 3 up-and-coming Keyblade warriors spend their nights smacking around hanging emblems and staring at the night sky together. Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. Terra and Aqua are preparing for their Mark of Mastery exam, a test that, if they pass, will grant them the title of Keyblade Masters. As for Ventus, a glorified cheerleader, and he just really wants some friends. The day of the test arrives, led by Master Ericus, voiced by Mark Hamill, and Master Xehanort, voiced by Leonard Nimoy. And can I just say, I know as a longtime Kingdom Hearts fan, Xehanort is bad news, but maybe the prequel game can show me a side of him that perhaps might explain how he went evil, but this game doesn't even fucking try to hide the fact that he's clearly the bad guy. And I'm thinking, how the fuck does Hironobu Sakaguchi here not see that? Apparently they're longtime friends, and despite a flashback where Xehanort clearly states he has ulterior motives, and despite Xehanort literally scarring Master Ericus for life, the dumbass still lets the man attend the Mark of Mastery exam because he wrote him a nice letter. All is forgiven. Still gotta give props for getting Mark Hamill and Leonard Nimoy to voice these guys. They're great in these roles. The first thing I was wondering was, shit, is Birth by Sleep a subtle Star Wars versus Star Trek parallel? No, I'm sorry, I'm getting way out of focus here. So the Mark of Mastery exam begins pitting Terra and Aqua against each other. Unfortunately for Terra, his inner darkness gets out of hand for a second, which I'm sure Master Xehanort will know nothing about because just fucking look at him! Sometime later, Master Ericus informs the Keyblade Warriors that mysterious creatures known as the Unversed, this game's Heartless essentially, have begun appearing in different worlds and threaten to tear them apart, with Master Xehanort also mysteriously vanishing. Hoping the two aren't connected, to which I say, what do you fucking think? Making matters more complicated is Ventus, who, after being convinced by this dude in the black getup to go against his master's wishes, decides to follow Terra into the unknown. Aqua is not only tasked with keeping an eye on Terra, but must now also return Ventus to safety before the worst happens. Master Ericus, if you never wanted Ventus to leave the land at departure, then why does he have his own Keyblade armor and Keyblade vehicle so that he can leave whenever he fucking pleases? Now, when it comes to the stories within those worlds, fuck, there ain't much happening here, par for the course in Kingdom Hearts, really. You save a princess here, save a princess there, you go to outer space, get lifetime passes to Disneyland! Ventus, despite tagging along in order to keep up with Terra, seems to forget that little tidbit in every world he visits and really just wants to make friends. Seriously, this kid is a lonely motherfucker. And I feel for him, but this is his whole story up until the end of the campaign, which I'll get to in a second. But the real plot of Birth by Sleep concerns Master Xehanort. Get this? He's a bad guy. Oh shit! Xehanort is interested in creating this so-called Keyblade. For the record, that's spelled Keyblade, this X being the symbol for Chi, or Ki as it could be pronounced, hence Keyblade. I hate this series. The Keyblade is said to be linked to the fabled Kingdom Hearts, and countless years ago, a great Keyblade war was fought for possession of it, so that power over Kingdom Hearts could be claimed. The end result of that war was unknown, but Xehanort wishes to start another Keyblade war to satiate his curiosity. Yeah, because he was curious.
What are you, fucking stupid?
This is where Terra comes into play. Throughout his adventures, Xehanort slowly manipulates the man to lose control of the darkness at points so that in time, Terra will allow the darkness to completely take over. Master Ericus begins to catch on to Xehanort's plan and attempts to wipe out Ventus to prevent Xehanort from forging the Keyblade, but Terra intervenes for the sake of protecting his friend, ultimately leading to the Master's demise after Xehanort takes advantage of the situation. And if you think it couldn't get any worse for the man, we still got the game's climax. But to keep him safe from the clutches of Xehanort and remembering some advice Master Ericus told her, Aqua places Ventus inside the remains of their home and transforms it into Castle Oblivion. It's genius. If Xehanort wants to find Ventus at some point, he's got to deal with that card game shit. It's perfect. He'll never find him. That just leaves the matter of Terranort. Aqua confronts her once former friend and manages to get the upper hand, giving Terra enough time to attempt to fight back from within, but this only leads to Terra plunging into the darkest darkness he ever darked, with Aqua giving chase to save him. That doesn't do a damn thing about the possession though. Xehanort is still in complete control of Terra's body, but that last scuffle caused him to develop a case of amnesia and is soon discovered by Ansem the Wise and his associates in Radiant Garden. Ventus is left to recover all by his lonesome in this so-called Chamber of Waking, and Aqua is left to spend the rest of her days in the realm of darkness. Well, fuck, that wasn't a very uplifting story now, was it? Jesus, I thought 358 Days was depressing at times. I mean, what else? The reason why Roxas looks the way he does despite being a nobody of Sora is because he took on the appearance of Ventus, his visual predecessor, you could say. Back when Ventus's heart was shattered because of Xehanort, somehow, some way, his heart was discovered by a young Sora who offered Ventus to share his light to fill the gap in his heart. Sora at the time is a very young kid, I should stress, and he still manages to do this shit. Either way, Ventus agreed. I'm guessing this is why Sora can wield the Keyblade in the first game, and Ventus, after the battle with Vanitas, who looks like Sora, decides to reside in Sora's heart while his body recovers in Castle Oblivion.
Did you get that?
No!
A year ago, we got something called Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. Terra is all about brute force, given how bulky some of his Keyblades can be. He better fucking be. I sure as shit wouldn't want to be struck with a giant metal stick. And given how easy it is to melt some absurdly powerful magic attacks so early in the game, she is easily my favorite of the three. Just get into the right spot, summon those Unversed, lock on, aim, and kaboom! If not for the large amount of powerful attacks you can create once you have the right ingredients, then for the passive perks that all three characters can benefit from. Supplementing this is the command board, which you can access anytime you're traveling between worlds or at a save point. You ever play Fortune Street? Well, good, because that's exactly what the command board is, and if you don't know what Fortune Street is, to put it very simply, it's like Japanese Monopoly. This video would double in size if I went and explained how that game worked, but it is something you can do to burn the time. But personally, I didn't play much of this because I'm not one for Fortune Street, if I'm being honest. There are some games I'm not entirely fond of, couldn't care about the ice cream rhythm game, didn't find it hard, it's just why? And in Ventus's scenario, it's required for story progression, so I hope you played your share of rhythm games. Aqua doesn't have it much better with Fruit Ball. I sucked at this until I found out that if I launched every single piece of fruit into the sky and then spiked it into the goal, the AI never gets a chance to do anything. What the fuck am I doing playing volleyball with the unversed? It's got a good soundtrack, the graphics are good too. It was already a great looking PSP game, and the HD remaster really makes it stand out, even if young Hercules here looks like he's seen the end of days. And it wasn't the first mobile Kingdom Hearts game either, to my surprise. Apparently there was another game called Kingdom Hearts V-Cast, released in 2004 that, yeah, it's definitely an early mobile phone game. Jesus, is this one canon too? No, I'm serious, is it actually fucking canon? Because I will sink into the goddamn darkness if it is. Now, as far as this story goes, I honestly don't know why we needed a whole game to justify the minimum amount of story significance Recoded contains. Their hurting will be mended when you return to end it. And this game is particularly clumsy with using the word hurt as a noun. Just to start with that real quick, there are still more hurts than you have just undone. What? Just use the word pain or torment. It rolls off the tongue better. This writing fills me with hurt. Jiminy consults King Mickey about the message, and to get to the bottom of it promptly, Mickey has the journal digitized for further examination. Unfortunately, the book is rife with bugs and glitches, as someone wasn't careful with their porn browsing. Either way, Recoded is a glorified retread of the first Kingdom Hearts game. The overarching plot is different, sure, and the individual plots inside each world are a bit changed, but it is roughly identical to the PlayStation 2 original, and I should stress, this has already been done before thematically with Chain of Memories, and they're doing that shit again. And near the end of the game, we get a callback to Chain of Memories, meaning we get a retread of a retread of a retread. What in the blue fuck? Recoded? I don't know. This didn't need to be a thing at all story-wise.
Majesty, there, on the monitor.
What the hell am I looking at? When does this happen in the movie?
Now. You're looking at now, sir.
Firstly, every world is riddled with these blocks that you can either destroy to clear up the pathway, or bounce on for some awkward platforming that isn't helped by the limited camera system, or maybe they can act as direct obstacles. Some even hit you on contact. Oh, I get it, it's a hitbox! Yeah, I see what you assholes did there. There's very little to do outside the main campaign, and the game gives you very little reason to go out and explore shit. Though a completely fine game, there's absolutely no harm in skipping it, so skip it. Last game for the marathon, Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Gonna be looking at the HD compilation version, of course, so don't fall asleep just yet. We may have some potential bullshit up in the horizon. And secondly, it was an invitation for Sora and Riku to partake in the Mark of Mastery exam, similar to what Terra and Aqua went through, to become true Keyblade masters and eventually prepare for Xehanort's return. Initially, this bothered me. You're telling me after all that shit I managed to pull off in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, especially 2, I'm still not really a master? What kind of criteria are you expecting here, Yen Sid? Apparently, even though Sora sealed up the keyholes at the end of the first game and restored the worlds to normal, not every world was brought back from the brink, and they're sent to basically give them a good old wake-up slap. And changing things up from the traditional Final Fantasy cameos, Dream Drop Distance instead pays homage to The World Ends With You, a Nintendo DS cult classic that I have some memories of. I didn't really like it at first. Maybe that'll change later down the road, I don't know, but I didn't care for the characters, but I always did like their design. Even if a lot of their clothing apparel looks like they can poke my fucking eyes out. Well, Axel, or Lee as he was originally called, begins to ponder this, but then wonders about the whereabouts of his friend Isa, or Sayax if you recall, and eventually he finds himself in Yensid's tower to begin his training as an eventual Keyblade warrior. Neat. The biggest plot thread concerns, you guessed it, Xehanort. Not just any Xehanort, a young Xehanort. They try and play up the mystery to the identity of this kid, and I'm like, what are you fucking kidding me? That's Xehanort. So yeah, that kind of falls on its face. Anywho, this kid continuously pops up throughout Sora and Riku's adventure, spouting some vague rhetoric about this and that, nothing we haven't already heard in Chain of Memories and the like. But then we get the sudden return of Xehanort's Heartless and Zenmis from Organization 13. What's going on here? Time travel. Here it is. They play the time travel card. When the two are brought together, the Keyblade is formed, another Keyblade war begins, yada yada yada. So Master Xehanort, years ago, concocted a plan to travel in time, convince his younger self to travel through time, and set events into motion that will bring the 7 lights and 13 darknesses together. The 7 lights being the Princesses of Heart from Kingdom Hearts 1, and the 13 darknesses being Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts 2. All this time, everything has transpired according to Master Xehanort's master plan. You can forget about the whole Ansem looking for the door to darkness spiel, Zenmis looking to collect hearts for nobodies. It was all just a part of another grand scheme. Holy shit. What happened here? Sora is mind-fucked through hell and back and nearly gives into the darkness, but Riku, Mickey, and the returning Lee swoop in and rescue Sora from Master Xehanort's wacky inflatable fingers for the time being. Riku manages to dive into Sora's heart and release him from his inner torment, his inner hurt, and the two are brought back to reality once more. I think so anyway. So time travel is a thing now. Master Xehanort uses it to manipulate everyone to play their roles, effectively undermining all of our achievements in every game up until this point. Half of the organization are back to being relatively decent human beings, so that whole thing about nobody's not being able to have hearts was complete and utter bullshit. Lee is now a capable Keyblade warrior, Riku's now a Keyblade master, Sora wants to go get the milk, and now even Kairi is being trained for the inevitable Keyblade war, which is gonna happen. You know it's gonna happen. And I'm sure it'll be a grand spectacle when we get to Kingdom Hearts 3, but God, this was a mess. I'm sorry. Well, the plot was only part of the reason what turned me away from the game at first, and unfortunately, now having the other games under my belt didn't really do anything to alleviate stuff. A major consequence of this, however, stems from the world design. If you thought Kingdom Hearts 2 was overly spacious, fucking hell, you have not played this. The developers gave you flow motion, and they want you to use the hell out of it to travel around. It's true that when you switch between characters, you can give them temporary buffs to their arsenal using points you accumulated from defeating nightmares, but the idea of having to manage something that's bottom line so inconsequential is just irritating. Not to mention, God forbid, if you drop in the middle of a room full of nightmares or a boss fight, when you switch back, you have to do it all over again. That's not fun. That's annoying. Imagine if I dropped in the middle of this video.
Oh, boy. Oh, God, what time is it? Oh, what the heck happened? Are we filming right now? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Yeah, I know it's about damn time this retrospective finally comes to an end, I couldn't agree more, but I know that a lot of you guys out there are always in the mood for some more Kingdom Hearts action. And we only have one major game to go. What can I say about Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance? Oh no, this is what's happening, isn't it? Listen, this thing right here is a flat-out dumb mechanic. No game in this series up until this point has anything even close to this, and this... oh god, it's so stupid, it's about to run out! This mechanic right here is flat-out stupid
See what I mean? That didn't do anything for anybody. Now these cuddly little things are your AI companions, the Donald and Goofy pretty much, with none of the personality. I'm not a fan of these things conceptually. To me, they're visually bland. I mean, I understand they're pets, but compared to what we had before, I think they're a step down. I often confused them with nightmares in the middle of a battle when things got hectic until I realized I was swinging at nothing. I was like, wait, shit, that one's mine. And I rarely noticed their contributions in the battlefield. That's probably because they're not shouting everything they do every waking second, to be fair. With ingredients you obtain in treasure chests and enemy drops, you can create more Dream Meters that contain more abilities abilities to eventually learn. But this is no doubt the make it or break it thing about Dream Drop Distance, because if virtual pet simulation is not your thing, do not bother. True, you can also get link points by defeating nightmares, but it's nowhere near as lucrative as, say, throwing candy into your pet's eyes, giving them diabetes, or smacking them around at a pinball table, you fucking monster. Or to rank these games in a totem pole, top to bottom, best to worst, let's see. Kingdom Hearts 2 for how much it changed for the better, Kingdom Hearts 1 because I'm a nostalgia whore, Birth by Sleep for being a pleasant surprise, a tie between Chain of Memories and Dream Drop Distance. I can switch between the two, I wouldn't really give a damn at the end of the day. Then Recoded because it's just there, and finally 358 Days Over 2. That's still the absolute low point of the series, a complete waste of time. We can look forward to the eventual release of Kingdom Hearts 3 together. But I don't know, man, that 2018 release date just doesn't seem real to me though. Well, whenever it comes out, that's when I'll head back to the franchise. I know there's still Back Cover and Union Cross, but fuck it, man. I need a break from Kingdom Hearts. Go ask Aunt Dude. My sentiments exactly.
That'll work. That'll right, Johnny? It was the weirdest thing I ever had to record.